way, what you think are the reasons for the poor performance of Nigerian students in this examination, SSCE?
Thank you, moderator. The major thing we have to understand is that we need a disciplined society. A society that lacks discipline cannot easily achieve much on its own. There are the individual causes here and there by any of us who are in the system, but the major cause of it is the individual, the indiscipline that is in the society. If we are disciplined in every form, we will also be able to inculcate that in our own children who are going to school. And if those children are disciplined, they will also be able to study hard and achieve whatever it is. A lot of people place emphasis on the infrastructure. Yes, I always will tell people that in those days they learn under trees. They learn in churches, and which they use as auditorium and where they teach these people. And yet people attained some level in those days. But now, the indiscipline in the society, by all and sundry, does not allow us to impact very well on the educational system.
Thank you very much. Yes, you talked about discipline in the society. Discipline as an individual, as a person, as a student. Discipline to read your books. You talked about, you just talked about in the days of old, people read under trees, so there was no comfort with education. Now you're trying to apply it to the society of now. And Ochuko Noble, I know you are the student of this generation. And my personal talk with you, I know you've written WAEC like over 2 times, you know. I want you to tell us how much this discipline affected you, or what problems you see. If it is not discipline, like you said, what other problems you saw affected you in your first exams, and then the second exams you finally made it.
Okay. Like other students, I had this problem, and it's a peculiar one to Nigerian students. Now, in all Nigerian students, we have this idea, this philosophy, and this kind of belief that we can get anything cheap without working hard for it. So, an average Nigerian student lacks the drive, lacks the motivation to study hard. So we lack this study habit, and that is the basis for poor performance. Okay? And the other thing that affected me and you viewing at home and all other students there that are facing some kind of problem with their wife is an imposing situation where parents will come and impose something that is not innate in a particular student. For example, there are some innate abilities students have. Maybe he likes fixing electronics in the house, and he says to himself, I want to become an engineer. The parents may just come, be an accountant. That have a way of dampening the performance of that student when he writes an external exam like WAEC or NECO, or generally the SSCE. So these are some of the problems that contribute to poor performance in SSCE in Nigeria.
All right. You said students are being, parents impose some vocational or course of study on students, and by that they are made to do what they don't like and they don't work hard to achieve. You know, when you want to do something and it's from your heart, you work all hard to achieve it. That's what you mean. Was that what applied to you? Did your parents tell you to do medicine when you were supposed to do something else? Or let's hear.
Okay. Initially, they had wanted me to study engineering.
Okay.
But I stood my ground and said I wasn't going to study engineering because I never have that in mind. So it actually took me some time to actually convince them that if I go on this path, I may not find fulfillment and joy, and at the end of the day, I may not do well. So just allow me do what's in my mind so that I can make the best out of the society. I can contribute to the society, because that's the basis of studying in school, for us to contribute to the society.
Okay, I just hope the parents out there are hearing us. Don't force your child. Allow your child do what he wants so that he will pass SSCE examinations very well. Right away, I'd like to forward this question to you, Mr. Samuel Omoha. You have heard him speak from his own umbrella as a student who's just written the SSCE not quite long, and he said his own problems as the fact that parents impose a vocation on a child. From your own angle, do you think there's a way WAEC can arrest that situation? Do you think there's a way WAEC can stop it so they can boost the performances of students in these schools or in different schools that write these exams?
Yes, there is a policy on ground. The unfortunate thing is how the policies are implemented. At the JSS level, the junior secondary school level, candidates or students generally are subjected to all sorts of subjects. From where we could study, guardians and counselors will just go on and study the student and know which one could apply to a student. Okay. And then they could pick up from there. But the unfortunate thing is that one way or the other, we are not able to implement these things very well. The guardians and counselors will not be in the school. Even when we have, they will be too few to really go around, because here is a situation where you wanted some guardians and counselors, maybe about 30 students to 1, so that he could monitor the performance of the students. Okay. And then there is also the performance at the JSS level. At the GSS level, you monitor and you are able to say, oh, this child is good in technical area. This child is good in some kind of vocation. And you will have been able to select whichever kind of subject which the students should choose. But then, usually, we were not able to implement out of sheer inadequate policy and sometimes inability for us to really go on and implement what we have inside our own policy.
Okay, these policies, do you need support from the government? Is that what you're trying to say, for these policies to be implemented?
There is little that the examining bodies do.
Okay.
The major aspect of it is government policies and those who are in charge of the implementation of those policies.
All right, like we heard, government policies and those who are in charge of it, please work.